Get off my lawn!
Hello, I'm Jerry the Boomer. Hope everyone's doing well out there. I do videos on whatever, whenever, and this video is going to be on retirement. But before you can retire, there is a very important prerequisite, and this is a necessity. There's no exceptions. You must have this. You must have a mini poodle that loves you, obviously. So anyhow, I've had Teddy here for about a year and a half. He's a wonderful little doggy. I think he loves me too much. But anyhow, that's one aspect of it. It doesn't have to be a small dog, though, and I'll show you what I mean. It can be a big dog that loves you, too. Like Prince here. Yeah. Anyhow, he's my other dog. I got two dogs that obviously love me. All right, Prince, go lay down. Oh my goodness. So those are a couple prerequisites before you can retire. Dogs or cats, if you like cats, that works too. You get a fishbowl. Okay, so on to the retirement portion of this video. I wanted to cover actually work history, but what happens before work history. Some of you have heard about, the 50 years and a golden watch. There's a little bit more to it than that. I want to go back in time, take you back to the beginning. So you're born. Yay! You have no responsibilities. It's all about you. You're catered to and everything is perfectly fine. And then all of a sudden, you have to go to kindergarten. You're about 5 years old. So you've enjoyed about 5 years of just a nice frivolous lifestyle. So what happens when you go to kindergarten? You have to start paying attention to the clock monster. That's right. You have to be there at a time. You have a teacher that's going to tell you what to do, when to do it. And this pretty much goes through kindergarten through 6th grade. It's one classroom. And again, this is from my perspective. I went to elementary school in the 60s to 1969. And they tell you when you can use the bathroom, when you go to lunch, and then when you go home. And you start the same thing Monday through Friday every day. You do have the summer off, so that's kind of neat too. But you are beholden to the clock and what they dictate. You also have to learn how to get along with other people. You learn how to share. And yes, you have to deal with the tattletales. There's always going to be a tattletale in school. So then you get to intermediate. For me, that was 1970 to 1971, 7th and 8th grade. And it's a little bit different because back then you have a locker. You need to learn your locker combination. Or if you have a key padlock, that's fine too. And then again, you have different classes. You have to be responsible for getting to those classes on time, getting your books and being on time for that. You're pretty much on your own to hit, bathroom breaks and everything, but you do have one lunchtime and one time you have to go home. So there you are, beholden to the clock monster, which is pretty much how life goes. So then you hit high school, and in my case, college. I took the college route. And for me, that was 1972 till 1979. So in high school through college, you have different classes. In college, you've selected your classes. You've selected a major, so there's a little more responsibility there. Not too much of the tattletale stuff going on, but I think it does still happen in high school, not so much in college. But you are still beholden to the clock monster. You must be there on time. Each period starts at a different time. You go home, you study, you have the weekends off. I think the only difference between that and work, of course, is you have your summer vacations. Then you have to go to work. You have to do a resume. And back in those days, you would mail a resume in or bring it in person. Someone would call you up on a telephone, no cell phones. You had to go to the wall, pick up the phone, put it to your ear, and set a time for the interview. There was no electronic calendar, so you usually had to write it down on a paper calendar or whatever you had to keep track. So you go to the interview and they'd ask you a few questions. Most interviews are half hour, 45 minutes, and you knew within a day or two if you had the job or not. So going to work is very similar to elementary school. You have to learn how to get along, and there's always the tattletales. They're not called tattletales, they are called brown nosers. And again, you are subject to not teachers, but supervisors. And just like back in schools, you have teachers that are good and teachers that are bad. Same thing with work. You're going to have supervisors that are good and supervisors that are bad. And you've heard that when you have your own business, you're your own boss. No, I've run 2 small businesses by myself, and every client becomes your boss. So instead of one boss, at one time I had 15 to 20 different bosses, and it can get a little tedious. So that's my 2 cents worth for you on that. Now, most people will retire at about 65 years old. At that time, what's the average life expectancy of a male? 76, 77, something like that. So you don't have a whole heck of a lot of time left. One thing you're going to find is you need to adapt. All of a sudden, you are not beholden to the clock monster. Now, I retired roughly 6 months ago. Actually, 2 days ago would have been 6 months to the mark. I had no problems adapting. I turned off the alarm clock, did not have any calendars. I deleted every single thing I had to do with work off any of my computers. I just didn't want to see that anymore. I didn't like working. I worked because I had to. Some people find solace in their work. They like their work, and it's a little difficult to retire. Again, from my perspective, I couldn't wait to be done. I was 66, and it was time. The nice thing about retirement is now I have time for my hobbies. One is doing YouTube videos. I have my own little recording studio, several guitars, and a couple good microphones. So I'm really anxious to start resuming my music. And I finally put the final touches on my recording system, so I'm ready to go there. I'm also into photography, so now I have time to do photography. The other wonderful thing is I have 3 children and now 2 grandchildren. So I'm a grandpa, and I get to spend time with a 1-year-old grandson and a 5.5-month-old granddaughter. And it's really, you know, the grandson walks around, has an attitude now. It's just hilarious to watch him. I love being a grandpa. I have more time with my wife. We've been married 37 years, and she's just wonderful. I just love being married, love being a grandpa. And we do little excursions. We like to go out for breakfast. We're exploring different places for breakfast. Probably get ready to go on a cruise next year, and just little vacations here and there. So I wanted to give some advice to both young and old. For you young people, I would say be careful what you spend your money on. If you can afford, a very expensive vehicle, a very nice place to live and still invest, go ahead and do that, obviously, whatever your prerogative is. But if you're not making that much money, first of all, people don't care what you drive. They're more concerned about themselves, I'm sorry. So I would recommend investing, and maybe by the time you're in your 40s or 50s, you won't have to wait till you're 65 or 66, and you can enjoy a much longer retirement. Now, for those of you nearing retirement, what we did was I put together an Excel sheet, and I calculated my monthly expenses, controllable monthly expenses, and fixed monthly expenses. One thing that's gone down as far as monthly expenses is gas. I don't have to drive that much. I fill up roughly every 2 weeks now, whereas before when I was doing field work, I was filling up 2 or 3 times a week. So that has drastically reduced. I spent the last year and a half of my employment working from a desk. So again, I only filled up every 1 or 2 weeks. The next thing you need to do is calculate your anticipated monthly retirement income, not investments. Our goal was to live off of our retirement. My wife has a nice retirement plan, and of course I'm getting Social Security. So between her Social Security, my retirement, and or my Social Security and her retirement, we're doing okay. We make ends meet, and we have extra money. We each have our own separate little accounts for spending on what we want to spend our money on. If at all possible, pay off your vehicles. My wife has a 2016 Mazda CX-5. I have a 2021 Mazda CX-5. Both of those are paid for. If you can pay off your credit card debts, pay those off too. This one's more difficult. We can't do it, but maybe you can. See if you can pay your house off. Do your research on, the tax benefits, whether it's better to be able to write off stuff on your, house payments or not. To us, we would just pay the house off. I'd rather have less of a monthly payment than have to deal with the monthly payment. So that's pretty much it. That's what I have to say about retirement. I hope you enjoyed this video. One caveat is I am not a financial expert. I'm just saying what we did to prepare for retirement, and we're doing very well. So God bless. God watch over you, and you take care and have a great, great rest of your day. Bye-bye.